Everybody, welcome to the Austin's Audit Podcast here on a beautiful Thursday. I'm your host, Austin Gerke, and for today's show, since there is only college basketball and college football on today, I'll just get through the list of those. Plus, you'll get my take on the surprising blockbuster trade that sent Russell Westbrook to Washington, and John Wall gets to leave DC and go to Houston, which doesn't mean a whole lot whatsoever. Plus, Anthony Davis one-ups LeBron in the extension game. I'll give you the details on that as well. Other than that, enjoy the show. Let's start off this show with the games to watch part before I get into the news of all the stuff. Let's get to college football first, since there's only 2 games on tonight. We got Louisiana Tech against North Texas. Take Louisiana Tech to win that game. And then you got Air Force and Utah State. Go Air Force. Now we'll jump to college basketball right now, because remember, in this list, I'm only focusing on the top 25, so hold on real fast. Let me jump into the list. NCAA Division I, top 25. There you go. I'm only going to be focusing on the top 25 for today. So let's find which games are interesting to watch if you're interested. This is what I hate about college basketball right now. Even under normal circumstances, we're in such the early part of the season that you have all these games that mean absolutely nothing. Like Iowa and Western Illinois. Okay, cool. Iowa's going to win. Kansas against Washburn. Again, Kansas will win that game going away. Let's see. St. John's, Texas Tech. Ooh, okay, that might actually be watchable. Oh, wait, no, that one's canceled. Just as soon as I give out that list, it's canceled. Okay, so the first 2 right now, Western Illinois and Iowa, Kansas and Washburn, Arizona State and Cal. 3. Yeah, there's only 3 games to watch, really, because the other ones got postponed for today. Let's go conference to conference and see if there's anything going on. Let's start in the Big 12. Let's go with the Power 5s first. Kansas, Oklahoma's beating UTSA. Okay, let's go into... Now I'm just hopping through. You know what? At this point, you guys have televisions. You can watch them. You know what? I'll even recap last night's stuff, but I want to see what else is in the conferences right now, especially in the Power 5s or the Mountain West. Let's jump to the Mountain West real quick, see if there's any good games on there. Nope, they're all postponed, of course. Let's go into the Pac-12. Let's see if there's anything good. Washington is beating Utah right now, but that's really early. They're leading 5-4. UCLA is playing Seattle. The university, not the professional teams. Arizona, Cal, I just mentioned. Okay. So there's literally not a whole lot in the college football realm today. So I'm just going to go backwards. Today, because those games are now done. Indiana beat Stanford 79-63. Missouri beats Oregon 83-75. Washington State beat Oregon State. Oh wait, that's the Pac-12. That's why. Let's go back to the top 25 stuff. Go back to yesterday's games in the top 25. Texas beat North Carolina 69-67. Ohio State beat Morehead State 77-44. Gonzaga, I actually saw a little bit of this game. They were given a little bit of a fight early by West Virginia, but they pulled away late considering that. Let's pop open the stats on that game real fast. Let's go to the team stats. Field goal percentage. Gonzaga shot 49% for the field. West Virginia got 37%. 3-point percentage, still not good for either team. West Virginia went 29% from the three. Gonzaga, 25%. Still not very great, but the difference was within the free throw percentage. West Virginia went 27 to 33 from the line. That's 81%. And Gonzaga went 15 to 21. That's 71%. And if you want another telltale sign as to how this team won, I mean, statistically, West Virginia did outplay Gonzaga in every way, but they still lost, considering that where are the turnovers? There it is. West Virginia turned over the ball 15 times, while Gonzaga turned it over 11 times. Other games inside the top 25 from yesterday. Let's see, I already mentioned Missouri beating Oregon. Baylor beat Illinois 82 to 69 in the Jimmy V Classic. Let's see, and that was about it in the top 25. So again, I'm going to switch for today. The games in the top 25 you need to watch if you do care. Western Illinois and Iowa. Washburn and Kansas. And Arizona State and Cal. Those are the games to watch in the world of college basketball. Now we can jump to the news, which is mostly NBA related. And an idea of maybe having all the schools in the FBS break away from the NCAA. What a bright concept. All of that coming up next. Let's get to the news portion of the show. Got 3 stories here. Boom, 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 quick. Let's do the first one, which was really another case of one-upsmanship for the millionaires. But Anthony Davis now agrees to a 5-year, $180 million Supermax. Actually, no, it's just the maximum contract to stay with LA. That comes a day after LeBron James gets a 2-year extension for $85 million, which, by the way, with that extension, that dude is now making $117,000 a day. Congratulations. And why not? We'll look into Anthony Davis's contract still. Has formally agreed to a 5-year, $190 million maximum contract to stay with the defending champion Lakers. Clutch Sports CEO and founder Rich Paul told ESPN on Thursday. The deal included an early termination option prior to the 5th year of the deal in the 2024-2025 season. Davis is a free agent expected to sign the contract as soon as Thursday. He considered several short and long-term contract scenarios before accepting a full 5-year max offer. According to ESPN's Bobby Marks, Davis would make $32 million. $32,742,000 this season. $35 million. Oh God, no. Is that really it? $35 million. $35,361,360 in 2021-2022. When it gets better. $37 million in 2022 to 2023. Good Lord. In 2023-2024, he'll make $43 million. 43 in that final year of that deal, where he has an early termination option. And you're telling me you're oppressed. Right. I wish I could make that much money for this show. But you're going to make... Let's see, shall we? Again, I'm running through the numbers one more time. Okay? $32 million this year, $35 next year, $37 in 2022, $40 million in 2023, and $43 in the 5th year if he chooses to keep that option. Okay. That's basically a hold my beer moment if you're Anthony Davis. That really is. That's a hold my beer moment. Congratulations, dude. You did it. Now, this next story, it was shocking for most of the NBA crowd. I know this is more NBA in the last 2 days than I've done all year. But this is the part of the NBA I actually enjoy, and that's the off-season shit where you're making money for no apparent reason. And yes, I said shit. I'll say poo-poo, whatever you need to do. However, we're going to get to this next story where, okay, James Harden and John Wall got traded for each other. That means John Wall is going to Houston while Russell Westbrook, I'm sorry, not James Harden, but Russell Westbrook will be heading to Washington. Quite frankly, we're going to pull up the stats in the NBA. Why not? Because all the NBA nerds on the mainstream news source that I use for this show, ESPN, again, I'm not a fan. I just want to cover them to see what they're covering because turns out when you are the worldwide leader, you do tend to shape what people are pushing. Even your own competitors, by the way. So, why not? Let's go into the stats of these two players and show you why this is such bull that it doesn't really matter. This trade isn't that big of a deal. Okay, let's just go into the offensive numbers since we all care about offense, who really doesn't need that much about defense. Okay, the top 4 players in scoring. Ready? James Harden, Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, Trae Young, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. None of those top 4 are Russell Westbrook or John Wall. I get it, John Wall's been hurt. But I remember when John Wall first got drafted to Washington. He was supposed to be the savior of that franchise, right? Guess what? In his appearances to the playoffs, Wall and the Wizards never even got to the Eastern Conference Final. Never, not once. I think the year he got drafted was 2012. That was that super team in Kentucky before the super team with, I think that was the first one and done super team that Calipari made in Kentucky. But he got drafted out that year, and he was supposed to be the savior, right? But he hasn't been producing at all. And now you expect Russell Westbrook to do that exact same thing out in Washington? Good luck, dude. Good luck. Doesn't mean anything. Oh, by the way, let's go into even more stats to prove the point. In assists, you got LeBron at 1, Trae Young at 2, Luka Doncic at 3, Ricky Rubio. Oh, wait, no. There's a tie for 3rd between Doncic and Rubio. And then you got Dame Lillard. Okay, none of those guys are Russell Westbrook. And none of them are John Wall. Neither of them. Okay? Okay, 3 points made. You would think John Wall would be up here, right? No! James Harden at 1. Dame Lillard at 2. Buddy Hield at 3. Davis Bertans and Duncan Robinson. None of them are John Wall and Russell Westbrook. Long story short, I can go on forever. But long story short, they're both the same player. Who cares? This was a BS trade. So what? Russell wanted out of Houston anyway. And Houston doesn't have Daryl Morey anymore. And apparently the new coach, was it Paul Silas? Oh, wow. Paul Silas is the new coach? Let me go check that out real quick. I don't want to fool you guys too much. So let's get back to the news. Let's see. He's giving Harden space. Hold on. Boom. Open that up. Houston. Steven Silas. Okay, it's not Paul. Okay. First-year Houston Rockets head coach Steven Silas has not been in regular contact with James Harden. Oh, that's great. That's great. So, you don't have Daryl Morey. You have a brand new coach because you got rid of D'Antoni too, obviously. And now you think John Wall is going to work well with James Harden? You really think John Wall is going to do that better than Russell Westbrook could? Russell Westbrook's not going to succeed in Washington. And let me be the first. I probably am not. But let the record show. I'm going to be right in the long run. At least when it comes to this. Now, the one final news story, and this is actually one that surprises me. But let's get out of the NBA page real quick. Let's go to the home. This one actually surprises me. Okay, hold on. This one surprises me, okay? A commission of college athletics leaders recommended Thursday that the best way to repair the NCAA's broken governance model is to remove the teams of the football bowl subdivision from the association, forcing the top level of college football to govern itself as a separate entity. The Knight Commission, a reform-minded independent group of university presidents, former ADs, and others spent the past years studying the current state of college sports before making its recommendation. Okay, so this is more of a piece of what they did. After surveying a wide swath of college sports stakeholders, the group said it discovered that many leaders in the industry believe the time has come for significant change. It decided that the most effective way to solve a variety of problems is to separate football, an outlier of a sport because of the vast and quickly increasing difference in the revenue it generates. Every other sport looks like a duck and walks like a duck and probably is a duck. What the? I don't know why the hell he had to say that. Commission co-chair Arnie Duncan told ESPN that one looks like a pterodactyl. It's not like the others, and it's had a wildly disproportional impact on everything else. It doesn't make sense. So, okay, just based on that alone, just what I read you, and I will put the link in the episode description, but just on that alone, the Knight Commission looks like it's blaming football for all of this, which is really lame, but that's part of it. Let's continue on here with the story. The commission does not have any authority to enact change in college sports, but its leaders hope Thursday's recommendations will serve as an essential first step in what they see as a needed overhaul of how college sports are governed. Right. So most of you ADs have created this commission that has no power whatsoever, but you want to do a little surveying of going, college sports is really messed up. The revenue stream is heavily football reliant, which is pretty bad, but we want to keep the mold of amateurism. We want to keep this as a guise, and that's fine and all, but we got to do it in a way that doesn't look suspicious and blaming football. This is more of a veiled threat at blaming football than anything else. One more time. The group met with NCAA President Mark Emmert on Thursday morning to present its recommendations. It also plans to present its findings to other members. Present its findings to other members of the NCAA for further discussion in the near future. The proposal to separate FBS football from the NCAA would leave the big-time football programs in charge of creating a new entity that would develop and enforce rules, determine eligibility requirements, set health and safety standards, and organize a national championship. Oh, goody! So that's your recommendation? It's not that, you know what, we're going to just get rid of the NCAA. We're just going to do that. We're just going to get rid of football entirely and go, hey, Alabama. Hey, the rest of the SEC. Hey, Pac-12. Hey, ACC. Do what you want. We don't care. Go for it. Again, this article will be in the episode description, and I know you guys are probably bored by this point. But this is silly. right? I want you, especially when you listen to this part, I want you to have that article open and you can read it for yourself. Just to see what I'm talking. Okay? I'm going to finish this last part and then I'm going to be out of here. Ready? All right. The NCAA currently provides all those services for college football except for organizing a championship. The NCAA organizes championships for most sports but college football's postseason, and the significant money that it generates is controlled by a separate entity called the College Football Playoff. Under the proposed plan, all other sports at these FBS schools will remain under the NCAA's governance system. That includes college basketball's March Madness tournament, which remains the largest revenue source for the NCAA. Lower levels of football would also remain under the NCAA's purview. Duncan said that the group also considered the idea of creating a new division just for schools in the Power 5 conferences, which operate on much larger budgets than most of their peers, thanks in large part to the money generated from media rights deals and their own TV networks. That last split of the magnitude occurred nearly 50 years ago when the NCAA divided its schools into 3 divisions in 1973. This is not a lecture. This is just, again, I'll have this out and you can listen to this on the run because I got to get out of here. But they're blaming football for this. They're like, or at least based on this proposal and what you've heard so far, doesn't it seem like for a second that they're blaming football for this? They're like, God darn it, the NCAA sucks really bad. They suck really bad at their jobs. They take forever to put down penalties, and they're able to, punish kids for getting meals from a booster. But if we just let football programs run run the whole show for that sport, and we kept everybody else in our little umbrella, the NCAA would be so much better. No, that is a joke. That is an absolute joke. That's all I got to say. You'll read this. You can leave your comments on the Facebook page. You can leave your comments with me on Twitter. I don't care. But I want you to read this and I want you to listen to it carefully and read the lines that are basically saying, oh, this is, because I know you're going to read this and you're going to go, wait a minute. This is an idea to help this is going to get them off of NCAA. This is going to get people to this is going to get people to finally change the NCAA. No, it's not. This is a veiled threat of, hey, football, you're getting all the money. If you did your own shit, maybe we could do that too. Just do your own stuff and let us handle our business. I know at this point it's stupid, so that's why I got to get out. But peace. Thank you for listening to the Austin's Audit Podcast. I have been your host, Austin Gerke. Don't forget to follow this show on Podbean. Just search for the Austin's Audit Podcast. Sorry, I'm a little starting to stumble after that read. You can also follow this show and listen to the show on Spotify, Google, Apple if you know the trick, Deezer, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music as well. So next time you're around your Amazon-enabled device, or Alexa-enabled device, just say, hey Alexa, play the Austin's Audit Podcast on Amazon Music. You can also follow me on Twitter. My handle is at Austin_Gerke. And especially after I read that article about the Knight Commission and trying to separate football from all the other college sports, you might want to leave some on the Twitter. The handle is at Austin_Gerke. That's going to get some discussion one way or the other. You can also leave comments for the show or that topic on the Austin's Audit Podcast on Facebook. And if you are anti-Facebook, Twitter, or Alphabet Google. Oh, and by the way, the newer episodes before I get to Parler and Rumble, thanks to Rumble actually, the newer episodes now will be on YouTube as well. So just search for AA EP either 120 or 121. This is episode 122. And this one will be up after I upload the video. But anyway, if you are anti-YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, you can also follow me on Parler. The handle for Parler is, because I always screw this up, capital A, and then the rest of it is lowercase, D, G-E-R-K, 14 pod. Again, that is capital A, and the rest of it is lowercase, D, G-E-R-K, 14 pod. That is the Parler handle. You can also follow this show, ironically, on Rumble. Until January 4th, I'm going to keep saying the ironic part. But you can follow the show on Rumble. Just search for capital A, and then the rest of it is lowercase d, and then my last name, which is G-E-H-R-K-E. Again, that is capital A, D, G-E-H-R-K-E. Remember, when you're in the search bar of Rumble, there is a drop-down menu. Make sure that drop-down menu is highlighted on channels, not videos. Do all that search stuff and click subscribe so you can get all of the episodes. If you get all of them, I'm surprised because I get all of them. I don't know why it takes forever for Rumble to get them out to the rest of you, but they do eventually. They're getting them out there. The newer ones, because of Rumble and thanks to Rumble, are also on YouTube as well. So you can find those on there. And that's literally about it. I'll see you guys for Prediction Friday. Until then, you've been listening to the Austin's Audit Podcast, and I have been your host, Austin Gerke. See you guys tomorrow. Peace out.